This week was a tough one. No matter how much time I set aside to get some of my work done, something else kept coming up, stealing my time right out from under me. At first, I was irritated, and then eventually just resigned to the fact that there was nothing I could do. So when I found myself sitting there, staring out the window, contemplating my next steps, I gave myself the pep talk. You know the one. Get back to it. You've got this, Michelle. You can't let someone else's stuff get in the way of you getting things done. But, well, that's not always true, is it? I was completely stuck in my own little web of chaotic thoughts. But it was a single invitation from a friend of mine, Alexa Bigwharf, that gave me the opportunity to make a shift. I'll talk more about that in a minute. So what did I do next? Exactly what I tell you to do. I gave myself some grace, took a breath, and decided to figure out how to move forward from here. No beating myself up, no dramatic spiraling, just a breath, a plan, and accepting the invitation. Now, if you caught episode 13 with Jordash Johnson, you'll remember him talking about the idea of the seasons of your life. As your seasons change, you often have to alter your systems. Sometimes all that's needed, though, are small tweaks, and other times you need to do a full overhaul in how you're getting things done. And truthfully, sometimes you even need to redefine what productivity means to you. Over the past week, during my less than productive moments, I found myself really sitting with this idea. Because whether you have tiny little humans running around changing everything, or you're an empty nester like myself, we all need to adjust how to use our time. And that's where your time toolbox comes in. If you've been here since the early episodes, you've heard me talk about my time core strategy system. And today we're circling back to one of the most foundational pieces of that system, accountability. A few minutes ago, I mentioned an invitation from my friend Alexa. Honestly, the timing was perfect. I opened my phone and saw an invitation to a writing accountability group. Now, this was significant because over the last month, I had completely put my creative writing on hold. No time set aside, no attention given. And this invitation reminded me that having someone to support this part of my life is an excellent use of my time. That having someone to be accountable to is part of my process. I had just temporarily forgotten. So let's break this down. When we talk about accountability, I see it running in two veins, intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic accountability is what you build into your own environment. Sticky notes on your wall, reminder apps, color-coded calendars that make you feel like a very organized adult. It's about creating systems that work for your brain, so you can check things off and feel that internal, yes, I did that kind of satisfaction. And then we have extrinsic accountability. This is where other people come in. A small accountability group, a trusted friend, a Facebook community of like-minded people. But here's the key. To make extrinsic accountability work, you have to set it up properly from the start. You need to ask yourself, what do I actually want out of this experience? Is this a paid group experience, a one-to-one consultant, or a free group of like-minded people? That brings me back to the writing group. One of the reasons I joined was because they had created a simple MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding. It clearly outlined how they would support each other and what each person's responsibility would be. No rigid rules, just a shared understanding. And that mattered because it aligned with my productivity process and what I needed to complete the tasks in front of me. But sometimes we need to look a little bit deeper before committing to an accountability system. Because here's the part that nobody talks about enough. What happens when you don't hit the goal? If your accountability system drains your energy every time you fall short, it's not working for you. It's working against you. This is why I am such a strong advocate for bite-sized, realistic goals. Here's a step-by-step. Step 1, set your goal. Step 2, decide on your accountability path, intrinsic or extrinsic. Step 3, assign the right time tool. Step 4, test your mini system. Your goal, your accountability, your time tool. Now it's time to get it done. Then ask yourself, did it work? How did it work? Can I do this on my own, or do I need support? Can I replicate this process? Can I replicate this process with a different kind of goal? And from there, it's time to adjust and make it suit your needs. Because really, there is only one rule in all of this, and that's be realistic. When you push yourself past what is feasible, things start to break down. You get sick, your family gets frustrated, you get frustrated, communications break down. And I've seen it. I've lived it. Case in point, a few weeks ago, during what I can only describe as a month of chaos, I sat down at 10:30 at night to start working. And then my husband appeared in the doorway, gave me the look, you know the one, and said, "Really, Michelle? You're starting right now?" That's all he needed to say. And you know what? He was right. 10:30 is not my best working time, so I shut it down, made a cup of tea, grabbed a book, and soon after went to bed. Because sometimes the most productive thing you can do is step away and get some sleep. Now let's talk about accountability groups. How do you actually find them? You can look in Facebook groups, conference connections, Messenger or Slack-like groups, coffee shop meetups, productivity coaching spaces, and something really interesting, accountability cafes. Now, the idea of the accountability cafe didn't just appear overnight. We've always had shared workspaces like coffee shops and libraries and even our kitchen tables. But as more people began working remotely, there was a growing need, not just for a place to work, but a place to be seen working. Think about that. Around 2015, platforms like Focusmate started to emerge, built on a simple idea. Say what you're going to do, then do it with someone else present. No pressure, no micromanaging, just presence, and it worked. People weren't just getting more done, they were following through with what mattered most. Today, accountability cafes exist everywhere, online, in person, and they all follow a similar rhythm. You show up, you set an intention, you work, you check in. Simple, but very powerful. Here's what I want you to do this week. Take a moment and look around your community. Is there a space where people gather to work? And if there isn't, what would it look like for you to create one? One friend, 1 hour, one shared intention. Because productivity isn't just about managing time, it's about creating environments where time works with you. If you want to try this out right away, I'd recommend starting with something like Focusmate. You book a session, 25 minutes, 50 minutes, or 75-minute blocks. You're paired with someone somewhere in the world. You state your goal, you work, and then you check in. There's a free option and also a paid option around $8 to $12 a month. It's simple, it's human, and for many, it's the missing piece. Here's where I land today. Build your accountability toolbox. Know your intrinsic tools. Know your extrinsic tools. Use both and give yourself grace when life intervenes, because you and I both know it will. And can we please retire the phrase dropping the ball as something shameful? Sometimes you're not dropping the ball. You're just putting it down on purpose because something or someone needs you more in that moment. That's not failure. That's being human. At the end of the day, you can have the best time tools in the world, but without accountability, they can fall apart. Accountability doesn't need to be heavy. Sometimes it just looks like showing up, being seen, and following through. Thank you for listening to this episode of Your Productivity Pulse. You're not alone in this. We're all learning how to navigate our time in a way that actually supports our lives. If you want a simple place to start, grab the free Time Disruptor checklist in the show notes and join the community. Let's start noticing what's getting in the way so we can begin to make the shift. Remember, intention plus accountability equals productivity. Until next time, keep listening to your pulse.